Hello everyone, I'm Mauro Stemberger and today I'm presenting a video for the 9th World Bonsai Congress organized by the World Bonsai Friendship Federation that select me as the European representative for this beautiful event. The tree I'm gonna work today is a Rocky Mountain juniper and I'm presenting the complete styling of the tree, starting from the raw material to the final design. I really hope you enjoy this video. I love to do bonsai around the world, and again I'm glad I can share with you my passion and my work today with this demonstration. Today I'm in Grand Rapids working for my friend Tim, and I will be giving the first styling on this beautiful Rocky Mountain juniper. Tim got this tree from the Eden Gardens in Chicago, and probably this tree was collected in the West by Randy Knight. Originally the tree was down, laying with this section facing up. So when I was here on my last trip 2 years ago, we repotted the tree with the idea of creating a beautiful semi-cascade. The tree has very compact foliage originally because in nature what juniper does, they restore the energies in the crotches, and so during summer when it's very dry they tend to die back, they can hold the energy, and then when the water come back with the storm they can regrow from the crotches. So they use those points of the trunk to restore the energy. So we let the tree grow nice and strong for 2 years. You can see this tree is a male tree, is full of flowers, and now I just did cleaning of the dead wood, cleaning of the green, and we can start making decisions. So basically we have a beautiful wavy trunk here, dead wood, fantastic movement down. Luckily we see the live line from this point here, and then the tree go down, twisting on itself, and we have a lot of nice branches in this position. Unfortunately, we have a very straight part here that I will go and remove to just create dead wood. I don't want to have green so low. I want to try to compress the green as much as I can to create a small canopy and highlight visually the beautiful ribbon trunk that the tree has. So first of all I will remove the extra foliage now that I clean everything and I can see the structure, and then I will start the wiring. The first work that I like to do when I start a juniper is always to clean very well the live line and understand where are the living part growing up from the base to the canopy of the tree. These help me a lot after I identify the lifeline of the tree to understand which one will be the best front. These old Yamadori juniper, sometimes they still have bark in areas where there is no living tissue of the wood. So this operation that I use to do with this triple blade knife is very, very important. You can see how easy it is to just lift the superficial part of the bark and expose the reddish part of the bark, and according to how vibrant is the color of the wood, I can really understand where the tree is alive, where the tree is eventually dead, and also area that are basically decreasing to move the attention of the sap and the movement of the sap in different areas. I do most of the job with this very useful knife, but I also have what I call rudiban, that basically is a bark stripper that generally I use if I have areas that are drier and I need to clean with a little bit more power. But as you can see, this knife is very, very useful and is very easy to just remove the superficial part of the bark without damaging the cambium of the tree. Obviously, I have a little bit of experience, so I don't push too much with the risk to open some scars. Eventually, if that happens, I can always use some cut paste. To finish up the job, I brush with a very gentle copper brush. As you can see, the nice reddish color of the bark come out, and from this point I can make either decision, as I said, for the eventual front of the tree according to how much I see the lifeline, and also eventually decision if I want to open some more shady line. Now, as I said, using the rudiban, I just remove the part of the old bark in the outside area of this elbow, where the tree basically lost interest in growth, and as you can see, the dead wood underneath the bark is just dry and very, very white. So with this tool I can do this and basically mark the outside edge of the living vein. It's now time for cleaning and selecting the branches. You can see how bushy is the tree now. This is the result of a selective pruning of the branches we did already a year before, where I only select from the crutches the stronger branches that were developing. Generally, in this primary work, I leave 3, maximum 4 branches from the same location, with the idea, as I'm doing now, to go back in a year time after a good development of the branches, also thanks to good fertilization, good sun, and good watering, and then reselect the branches basically back to 2. I don't want too many branches starting from the same location, but I need the tree to keep its strength, so I can, thanks to a big green mass, I can develop a lot of branches in a short amount of time. Very hard pruning is no good to develop good structure. We have always to balance pruning and strength of the tree. If we do in 2 or 3 phases, this always helps the tree to be nice and strong and develop a lot of branches. This was the goal in the last year for developing a lot of ramification for this styling that obviously give me the chance to have a lot of branches to create the basic structure of my future bonsai. What I'm doing now, I'm reselecting a little bit the branches, and also from the branch that I keep, I clean the first section, generally the first 3, 4, 5 centimeters, also in order to clean that line that will be wired and also will be easier to wire. This is the portion of the green that I don't need because belong to a very long and straight section of a branch pointing down. I don't want to create a cascade too long, and also I don't want to rely a part of the green to a straight line, because I risk that that line will basically visual ruin all the aesthetic of my future bonsai. It's better to sacrifice this section, break it down, and create a nice gin pointing down to still give nice character to my tree as a part of the deadwood, but not be visually connected to the overall shape by coming down as a branch. Just remove the unnecessary part of the green, trying to break the wood and create the nice movement in this portion of the gin. It's very interesting to have this gin because I'm sure in the future will really help us to highlight the cascading movement. So now I finish cleaning here the bark, and then I can start wiring the upper branches. At the end of the work, we'll also look at the upper gin that I did originally on the tree and eventually reduce them. I just finished taking care of the structural wire and the secondary wire in the lower part of the tree. So generally when I work on a material like this, I basically try to divide the entire tree in system. So in this case we have one system that is the lower part where this main branch is coming off, and then another system is the upper part. So I already split those sections, okay, and then I work inside outside in the different part, matching 2 by 2 the bigger branches and then matching 2 by 2 the smaller ones. Now that this section is primarily wired, I can subdivide my main system into single system according to every piece of wire and taking care of the fine wire of every one of those. Inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside. This is my strategy when I have a bush, to really break it down in a smaller system according to the wire rule, one piece of wire, 2 branches, 2 direction. So I know that I'm anchoring from inside outside and I'm coming out with all the nice connection I can. The next step before I will be fine wiring these branches, I will do also a little bit of cleaning. So branches, bar branches, I remove, branches growing underneath, and eventually only keep the nice and stronger tertiary branches that I will use to create the volumes of my pads at the end of the work when I will be setting in position the style. I just finished wiring the lower section of the tree, starting from the structural branches out to the very fine one, and now I have to wire the upper section, so my second big system of the tree. So I have basically 4 branches, the 2 bigger one, these and then the 2 intermediate one that I will wire with a little bit lighter gauge, and then as I did for the lower section, inside outside from every branch I will wire the fine branches. At the end, when everything will be wired, it will be easy to start from the lower branches and set in position the shape of the tree. The process of wiring always starts by the anchor point. I create a U in the middle part of my piece of wire that will connect 2 branches. This will give me the chance to have the best anchor possible. So when I'm gonna move one of the 2 branches, all the tension that I apply to that branch will go to my anchor and set there. If I'm not able to create a good anchor, the movement of the branch will be much difficult, plus I risk to create a lot of damage to the fiber because the tension is not able to fluently go back to the anchor point if I don't have one. You can see I finish up the left branch and now I'm taking care of wiring out the piece of wire in all the length of the other branch. This, again talking about system, help me dividing those 2 branches, and they will become 2 different systems when I'll put secondary wiring. Very important also to use this technique to not over wiring branches. For every little branch, I take care of putting the correct gauge of wiring. As you can see how I work, one of my hand, the left hand, hold the wiring position and follow up the right hand that twist the wire. I use long pieces of fine wire when I work fine branches, so I can always go and restart from one end and finish up 2 by 2 the little branches. My strategy is always open a branch flat or up, and then from the lower branches up or from the inner branches out, wire everything and open it like a fan. So when everything is done, I'm sure every single branch is wired and I'm ready to put in position the branch. Nice and clean wiring is always the key of the success of a good and fine shaping and styling of the tree. Plus, obviously, if we wire well, also the tree don't suffer much from the manipulation. Now that finally all the branches are wired, I can sit down and start the styling of the tree. I always start by moving and positioning the lower branches. I find the best position of the lower branch, in this case, because the tree moved down to the left, is the lower left branch. And I position the structure, and then starting from the little branches, I open up everything nicely like a fan and use just some of the little tips to create some volume. This lower branch will also give me the lower left point of my triangle on the way up to the top, and obviously later on I will also set the lower right branch that will give me the lower right point of my triangle. Is a little work to clean all the lines, adjust every single little branch in order to create the base of a pad that can develop towards the sun and then create maturity with the new vegetation. Because I want to give a good dynamism to the left, I also have another second left branch that can help me to really increase this dynamism to the left. It's very important because we have such an amazing movement of the trunk down in semi-cascade, and I feel that creating a rhythm between the composition of these two left pad help the overall look of the cascade. Now that the left lower part is done, I can start also the right lower part. So I always move first of all the structure by manipulating the wire spirals and put the branches in the position I want. In this case also because I want a little bit um, try to hide this central piece of a gene that is vertical down. I want to place that pad little bit overlooking that gene, but in the meantime also visually connecting to the left part that I just finished. Is always the same, going down with the pad, open up the side branches, clean the line underneath, and then with some leftover upper branches start creating a little bit the volume. In this particular phase, the volume is not something I'm very interested because it's a first styling. My main goal is to set a good structure of the primary and eventually secondary branches. So I keep opening and positioning, cleaning the lines, and always looking what I did previously on the other branches, try to create a beautiful rhythm on the way up to the top. Now that I'm working in the central area of the branches, I have to bring some branches back because I figure out that I need to open a negative space in that area in order to see some of the back branches and create depth. Depth is a big part of the bonsai composition because we always have to make a tree looking good in the three dimension, not only frontal but from the negative spaces that we create in the frontal view of the tree, we have to see some of the black branches in order to have a good depth. That's also one of the key to create a nice shape on our trees. Again, cleaning the lines, opening up the foliage, eventually wiring some of the branches that we miss during the wiring section, but always try to work nice and clean to obtain the best result possible. Don't rush and position the branches where they look just good, but always stop, look again, analyze the space, and analyze the position again and again until we are sure the perfect position is set and we can move to the next branch. On my way up to the top, I'm now working in the central area, frontal central area, and you can see already how I try to create nice and negative spaces in the outside part of the silhouette, because I want to create also a part of the rhythm between the movement and the full spaces of the pad. I want to create a nice negative movement between the different parts of the silhouette in the left and in the right side in the way up to the top. This will create a nice dynamism for this tree, because as you can see is an elegant trunk with good movement down, and obviously the green has also to reflect the movement and the shape of the trunk. This is very, very important. So always keep an eye about the interaction between the volumes of the tree, the size of the trunk, the movement of the trunk, the lines of the different pad, and the empty and full spaces that we get to create while we work our way up to the top. Finally, now I can work on the top. As you can see, I bend the frontal branch, creating a loop. This helps me to compact those upper whips and be able to create a nice and round top that will be the natural prosecution again of the left lower point that I create originally, and also the right lower point, that they will converge on my general triangle shape of the foliage. The process of creating a basic shape like this is pretty simple if we follow up some easy design rule and we try to be as clean as possible in our creation. I'm happy about the overall look. I just need to finish up some touches in the upper area using lot of the smaller branches to fill up the spaces and basically close the apex. Later on, I will decide about the length of those gin, because at the moment they look a little bit too much for the overall look of the tree. So I will decide eventually to shorten some of them in order to follow up better the movement to the left of my bonsai. So for now, I think is almost done. I'm concentrating just to the final touches, and we'll see how the final result will look. And here we are with the final product. I use all the upper branches to create a nice compact canopy, but still nice and dynamic down to the left to really highlight the beautiful movement of the deadwood and also match the direction of the gene. I short the right gene to increase that dynamism and also remove totally the lower gene that I left originally, but at the end of the work it was not matching with the overall design, so I decided to remove it. As you can see, I open up nicely all the foliage so the nice little branches can get a lot of light, thick up and start creating good volumes and maturing. So the tree will be here for another year in order to set the structure in position, and then in a year time we can go back and work a little bit more on the maturity and eventually move in the bonsai container that actually we already have ready. I want to show with you a nice square pot that I really think match with the beautiful movement of the tree and give also stability to the cascading. So in a year time we're gonna be moving this tree to the next container, and for now it's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you at the next. Today I'm in Feltre, in my garden, actually where I started bonsai when I was 14, so it's been exactly 30 years ago that I started building my big passion for bonsai. Here is my main collection, but I have also a bonsai museum. So today I want to just show you some of the pieces of my collection here in Feltre. Especially I have a lot of old mugo pine that I'm growing at least for the last 20 years to develop some beautiful bonsai. I have also a lot of deciduous tree. I love for my collection to have a little bit of mix of species to really enjoy bonsai during the 4 seasons of the year and see also the color changing in my garden. I hope you enjoy this demo on the Rocky Mountain juniper, and I let you with some image of my garden. Thank you so much.